May 19, 1983. Springfield, Oregon. It was a quiet Thursday night, until a battered Nissan Pulsar came screaming into the emergency room parking lot. Nurses and doctors rushed outside, and froze. Inside the car, 3 small children. Bleeding. Motionless. One, already gone. Another, barely clinging to life. Behind the wheel, their mother, Diane Downs. Blonde hair, bright smile, and a story that would shock the nation. She claimed a stranger had flagged her down, demanded her car, and when she refused, he opened fire on her children. But investigators would soon discover, the real killer wasn't a stranger at all. It was their own mother. Elizabeth Diane Fredrickson was born in 1955, in Phoenix, Arizona. Her childhood looked normal from the outside, a middle-class home, strict parents, church on Sundays. But those who knew her said she was restless, rebellious, and constantly searching for attention. At 14, she accused her father of sexual abuse. Years later, she denied it happened. That contradiction would become a theme in her life, twisting the truth depending on what she needed in the moment. At 16, she met Steve Downs. He was charming, older, and rebellious, exactly what Diane wanted. They married at 18, against her parents' wishes. The marriage was rocky from the start. Money problems, constant arguments, and infidelity, on both sides. But during that storm, 3 children came into the world, Christy in 1974, Cheryl in 1976, and Danny in 1979. Friends noticed something unsettling. Diane often spoke about her kids like they were a burden. She loved the attention they brought her, but not the work of raising them. Early 1980s, Diane was working as a postal carrier in Springfield, Oregon. That's where she met Robert Knickerbocker, Nick to his friends. He was married, but that didn't stop Diane. The two began an affair. Diane became obsessed, calling him constantly, writing passionate letters. But Nick made it clear, he did not want children. He would never leave his wife to raise another man's kids. Diane's response? She told friends she would do anything to be with him. In the days before May 19, 1983, Diane's behavior became strange. She hinted to coworkers about being free soon. She asked friends hypothetical questions, things like, "What would you do if your kids got in the way of your happiness?" That night, Diane picked up her children after visiting a friend. She told police she decided to take a scenic drive down Old Mohawk Road, a dark, isolated stretch outside Springfield. According to Diane, she saw a man on the roadside. She claimed he had bushy hair and was waving her down. When she stopped, she said he demanded her car. She refused, and he pulled out a gun. In Diane's version, the man leaned into the car, shot all 3 children, and grazed her arm before she pushed him away and sped to the hospital. But the hospital staff noticed something strange. Diane's wound was superficial, almost like it was self-inflicted. And despite claiming she'd raced to save her children, the drive from the shooting site to the ER had taken far too long. Detectives began piecing together the evidence. There were no tire marks or footprints at the scene, no sign of a stranger. Forensics matched the bullets to a .22 caliber pistol, the same type Diane owned. And her behavior? Chilling. In media interviews, she laughed, joked, and even flirted. One reporter later said, it was like she was auditioning for a part in a soap opera. While her daughter Christy was fighting for her life, Diane went on TV smiling, describing the crime in unsettling detail, without a shred of grief. Detectives confronted Robert Knickerbocker. He admitted Diane had talked about eliminating her children so they could be together. He begged her not to, but feared she might do something desperate. The motive was clear. Diane believed that by removing her children, she could finally have the life she wanted with Nick. But there was one witness who could confirm everything, Christy Downs. Christy had suffered a stroke from the gunshot wound and initially couldn't speak. Months later, she recovered enough to testify. In the courtroom, the prosecution asked her the question that would change everything. "Who shot you, Christy?" With a trembling hand, she pointed directly at her mother, and said, "My mom." The trial began in May 1984. Prosecutors painted Diane as a narcissistic, obsessive woman willing to kill her own children for a man's affection. The defense clung to the bushy-haired stranger story, but without evidence, it collapsed under scrutiny. When Christy testified, the courtroom fell silent. The jury watched as a little girl, her voice barely a whisper, told them the truth. After just 36 hours of deliberation, the jury found Diane Downs guilty of murder, attempted murder, and assault. Diane Downs was sentenced to life in prison, plus 50 years. She still insists she's innocent. Her surviving children were adopted by the prosecutor who put her away, Frank Josiak and his wife. Even behind bars, Diane continued to give interviews, often smiling as she discussed the night of the shootings. To this day, she claims a stranger did it. But the evidence, and her daughter's words, tell a very different story. Diane Downs remains a chilling reminder that evil doesn't always come from the shadows. Sometimes, it comes from the person who tucks you in at night.